Hey, how's it going?
Hi,
Come on
Omar.
in.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name's Omar Baqal. I am one of the first year internal medicine residents at Mayo Clinic, Arizona. I did graduate from Alfaisal Medicine in 2020.
Cool. So, what do you like doing outside of work?
Well, I love spending time with my wife. We kind of go out on walks, hikes, discover new eating places in Phoenix, and I'm a big soccer fan, so I love watching soccer, the Premier League. Chelsea fan, so go Chelsea.
Cool. And was IM something you were interested in from the beginning of med school?
Not at all. I think my clerkship experience was the defining time for my interest in internal medicine. I think I had a very positive internal medicine experience, and that's when I felt that IM would be what I see myself doing in the long run.
Okay. And are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Well, I'd say I did start off as an introvert, but I think over time I have evolved into more of an extrovert.
Okay. And did that influence your choice of specialty?
In some sense, I think it's a bi-directional kind of connection. Your personality may, to a certain extent, influence what specialty you go for, especially internal medicine. You know, you're going to be working with a lot of different patients with different social situations. You're going to have sometimes difficult conversations with patients. So you want to be comfortable working with and talking to patients and their families. So, you know, it helps to be interpersonally flexible and adaptable in that sense. And at the same time, your specialty will determine what kind of people you'll be working with and socially interacting with. So that's the impact a specialty has on a person's personality.
Okay. And how do I decide which specialty is the one for me?
I think your clerkships are going to give you a good flavor of what the specialties have. I do recommend you guys benefiting from the clerkship experience. Talk to professionals and physicians in the field. Ask them what their lifestyle is like, and then judge for yourself what your priorities are like as a physician. So some would say if you're going to be fine with the worst parts of your specialty of choice, you're probably going to be fine in that specialty.
Okay. And what was your favorite year and block in med school?
I would say it has to be, the block would be POD, and some of you may be surprised, but I think a lot of the stuff that I studied and learned in POD, especially the basics of pathology, pharmacology, microbiology, and immunology, that's the stuff that came in handy when studying for the USMLEs, and it still helps me to this day.
Okay, and what was your favorite part of medical school?
I first must answer the second part of that question. My favorite year was third year. And the reason for that is that was the crossover between our basic sciences and the clinical years. So we were very excited, to be finally going into the clerkships, to the hospital. So that'll always be a memorable year.
Okay, cool. And
So
what
what's
are
the next question?
what are the extracurricular activities that helped you strengthen your CV for the US residency application?
So I would say some of the leadership activities that I was able to do at Alfaisal, they definitely benefited me. They helped me demonstrate the qualities that I bring to the program, and other activities that were in some sense related to medicine. For example, the quality patient safety program, my experience as a BLS instructor. So these experiences definitely benefited me. And then also being able to work on the MSA committees, helping arrange research and clinical opportunities for our students. So overall, these are the experiences that helped me improve as a person pretty significantly.
Okay, cool. And what is your advice on getting involved in research?
I would say find a mentor, identify an area of research interest, and collaborate. I think you can do so much more and achieve so much more working together than working individually.
That makes sense. And if you could sum up your medical school journey in a song, which would it be?
I would say it's that song by will.i.am and the script Hall of Fame.
Okay. And what were your main strategies when preparing for your USMLEs?
I would say, first of all, setting a realistic goal of what score you want to aim for, and secondly, uh, aiming for small daily objectives, small daily goals, instead of looking at it like one big monster that you have to take down.
Okay, and what kept you going throughout your USMLE preparation?
I would say being confident about my abilities and truly having that vision and hope that eventually one day I'll be able to pursue residency training in the US and make my family proud.
Okay, and how was your transition from the mindset of a medical student to that of a doctor?
I think the responsibility definitely increases, so you have to accept that and you have to know that you will have much more responsibility on your shoulders, but it also becomes equally important to have faith and believe in the skills and knowledge that you've gathered through med school and eventually have this opportunity to apply that.
Great. And why did you choose to do residency in the US?
I think I had a very positive summer research experience here when I came through Spirit, and I am a big fan of the merit-driven system. You know, you're going to work hard, you're going to be acknowledged and appreciated for that.
That's true. And your favorite thing about being a resident?
I'd say it's just the amount of learning, the opportunity to learn and improve that you get, and also the opportunity to make a pretty significant impact on the lives of so many different patients.
Great. And your least favorite thing about being a resident?
That would have to be just the stress that sometimes you might have to deal with. You know, sometimes it does get pretty busy and you have to actively try and get your mind off work and try to unwind and do things that you enjoy. So it can get exhausting sometimes, but you know, we have great support from the program with regards to wellness. So you know, we're lucky to have that.
Great. And what is a skill you as an IM resident are trying to master?
I would say getting more confident in coming up with management plans, you know, thinking like an attending and coming up and looking at the big picture when taking care of a patient and coming up with effective treatment plans.
Okay. And what has it been like to be a resident during COVID?
I'd say it hasn't been as scary as it would have been in the early phases of pandemic where we knew such little. You know, at this point there is more predictability, there's more awareness about the treatment plans and treatment options that we have for our patients. We have great support from the hospital. We do get to take care of COVID patients regularly, but we're never overwhelmed. So we always have support when we need it.
Great. And what specialty do you wish to pursue after residency?
I am hoping to pursue cardiology fellowship.
Great. And what is it like to live in Arizona?
It's fun. You know, Arizona and Phoenix especially is a big city, and a lot of people don't know that. There's a lot to do, and also the fact that there's so many things to see around it. It just makes for a lot of fun road trips.
Great. And what's your favorite healthy snack?
I'd say it's gonna be trail mix or bananas.
Okay. And what's your top tip when creating a residency program list?
It would be, especially for the first list that you're going to be making, apply broadly. And, you know, as an IMG, you always have to do that. But when making your rank order list, you want to go with your gut feeling. You're going to have a gut feeling when you're done with your interviews and you get a sense of what the programs are like. So go with your gut feeling. Make sure you take into consideration the big factors that are important for you. For example, geographical preference, being close to family, if you have a partner, what works best for them. So once you've taken those factors into consideration, I think you should be fine, with your rank order list.
Okay. And what's your advice for acing interviews?
I always tell people to be natural, to be yourself, and to be kind. You want to come off as a pleasant person who can work in a team and a person who people will enjoy working with.
Great. And what is the most unusual interview question you got asked?
I would say what is your favorite app? And my answer to that was Reddit. It's a community where strangers come together to help each other solve problems. So there's a great sense of collaborative spirit, and that's something that I truly liked.
Great. And when should one start preparing their personal statement?
I'd say early, around 6 months in advance, 6 months prior to you submit your application. Give yourself enough time to write several drafts, to polish it further, to get it reviewed by your mentors, your friends and family, so you can have a very well polished end product.
Okay. And which is more valuable, clinical observership or research experience?
I think both have their advantages. Both, contribute to your CV in some way. But if I had to choose one, I would say the clinical observership, because you're getting the clinical experience, the letters of recommendation that you need, and networking and connections.
Okay. And what is your most valuable piece of advice when choosing which U.S. clinical electives to do?
I would say you have to be flexible and adaptable, especially during COVID. We realized that it wasn't an ideal situation. So basically, try to find a balance in your rotations. See if you can do some rotations at top places where you can get valuable letters of recommendation. And then also think of doing rotations at programs that are more IMG friendly. So again, a balance of clinical experience.
Okay. And what was your favorite part of the match process?
I would say it would have to be the interviews, where I got to talk to the fellow applicants, talk to programs, express my interest in the programs, and kind of just express what I bring to the program. It was just a good and pleasant experience.
And what was your least favorite part of the match process?
It would be the waiting for interviews, waiting to get my match results. These were the most painful times.
That makes sense. And in 3 words, describe how you felt when you found out that you matched.
I would say reflective, shocked, and appreciative and grateful. That's 4.
And what should someone do what would your advice be to someone who didn't match?
First thing I would want to say is that does not define you. Believe in your skills and everything you bring to your team. Think of it as a small bump in your road. Identify areas of improvement, see what might have contributed to you not matching, and improve in every possible way, whether that means getting a few more publications, research experience, doing more clinical experience, taking the step 3, and so on.
Great. And what are the must-have traits you think every medical professional should have?
I think every medical professional should be a good team player. They should be a leader. They should be ready to lead when needed. And they should have a great sense of interpersonal skills.
Great. And what do you do to maintain a good work-life balance?
In medicine, I think you have to actively ensure that you are giving yourself some time to relax, do things you enjoy outside of work, and quite often we find ourselves struggling with that, and that's why you want to take a more active role in ensuring that. So, again, I love spending time with my wife on hikes, on walks, and checking out new brunch places. I keep up with soccer, with the Premier League. That's something that I enjoy doing. So just making sure I do something outside of work, and that helps me take my mind off work whenever I'm off.
Great. And are you a night or a day person?
I'm very much a day person. I'm a big morning person.
Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful do you think the Academic Aid RPC US Guide is?
The objective of the RPC US course was to bring together, Alfaisal graduates and seniors to come together and share their advice about the US pathway for people who are interested in pursuing that. And what the Academic Aid Guide has achieved is putting all that into a very comprehensive resource that people can benefit from. And I think it highlights a lot of the important takeaways that came out of the RPC US course.
Great. And the last piece of advice that you have for Alfaisal Med students?
I would say believe in your abilities and keep improving, identify areas of improvement. No one's going to be spoon feeding you stuff. You have to create opportunities for yourself. Work together, help each other. I think collaboration is a powerful tool on this journey to residency and beyond in the field of medicine. And overall, try to grow and improve as a person first and then as a professional.
Great. Well, thank you for answering our 37 questions, Omar.
It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.